Hey there, techies. Today we're tackling a term that's been floating around the internet, one that was first glorified on Twitter: vibe coding. Vibe coding is an AI-dependent programming technique in which a person describes a problem or feature in natural language, and an LLM generates the corresponding source code based on that description. Unlike traditional coding, where developers write each statement, function, or module, vibe coding treats the AI model as a coding assistant that autonomously produces the boilerplate business logic and even handles debugging to some extent. Andrej Karpathy, a co-founder of OpenAI and former Tesla AI director, introduced the term vibe coding on February 3, 2025, describing it as coding where you fully give in to the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists. He also mentioned that it is possible as the LLMs are so good. Karpathy emphasized that he barely touches the keyboard and asked for simple tweaks like decrease the padding on the sidebar by half, and debugs the code just by copy-pasting the error message. This became the root for the tree called vibe coding. Developers and non-developers alike find vibe coding appealing for several reasons. Lower barrier to entry. For non-technical founders or hobbyists, vibe coding eliminates the steep learning curve of syntax, frameworks, and development environments. Instead, they can communicate ideas in plain English, and the AI handles translation into executable code. Number 2. Rapid prototyping. Vibe coding enables immediate feedback loops. If you want a feature, you describe it in plain English, and within minutes you have a working prototype. This speed is particularly enticing for solo builders aiming to validate ideas quickly without assembling a team. Number 3. Creative freedom. By offloading routine code generation to AI, creators can focus on the conceptual and design aspects of an application. Growth hackers call it the maker's flow state, reminiscent of artists just vibing with inspiration without getting bogged down in boilerplate. Number 4. Social proof and fear of missing out. Memes, tweets, and viral demos on platforms like X and LinkedIn drive social proof. Everyone wants to vibe code the next hot app. Seeing Karpathy's example projects or Redditors brag about shipping features without writing a single function stokes fear of missing out. Number 5. Cost savings. A perception some believe that by relying on AI, they can circumvent hiring expensive engineers. While this is often unrealistic, the initial allure of build without a team attracts early-stage founders strapped for capital. Lack of understanding and accountability. One of the biggest drawbacks is that users often accept AI-generated code without fully comprehending how it works. Simon Willison, an experienced engineer, warns that vibe coding your way to a production codebase is clearly risky. Most of the work we do as software engineers involves evolving existing systems, where the quality and understandability of the underlying code is crucial. Without foundational knowledge, it's easy to miss subtle bugs, security vulnerabilities, or architectural flaws that could cripple an application in production. Security vulnerabilities and technical debt. Because vibe coding relies on LLMs trained on large swaths of public code, it often produces generic snippets that may contain outdated dependencies, licensing issues, or vulnerable libraries. A journalist experimenting with vibe coding reported that the AI occasionally fabricated fake reviews or injected unnecessary features. Both red flags for startups that need clean, maintainable code. Over time, accumulating invisible technical debt can lead to severe maintenance burdens, as each AI-generated layer obscures the original intent. Overhyped and not scalable for complex projects. Vibe coding shines for small, software-for-one projects or weekend hacks, but it quickly falls short at scale. i.e. Spectrum engineers noted that AI tools today are mostly geared for day zero tasks, bootstrapping simple apps, but struggle with day one plus tasks like refactoring, performance optimization, and cross-team collaboration. As projects grow, the lack of coherent architecture and standardized testing frameworks becomes a showstopper. Dilution of skill development. Andrew Ng himself criticized the term vibe coding as trivializing the intellectual rigor of coding. If you never learn data structures or algorithms, you'll struggle to debug, optimize, or even reason about complex features later. Founders who solely vibe code may struggle to communicate effectively with engineering teams, hampering long-term growth. So far, we've discussed the cons of vibe coding. Now let's talk about the pros. Democratization of coding and programming skills. IBM's Think article calls vibe coding an AI-powered environment where AI agents serve as assistants, automating tedious tasks and generating standard code structures. This democratization can lead to a broader spectrum of innovators, enabling fresh ideas that might otherwise remain unrealized. Speed and efficiency. When an AI assistant can generate boilerplate, handle routine CRUD operations, or even suggest entire UI components, developers can focus on higher-level logic, user experience, and creative direction. Learning aid for new technologies. 3 Spectrum engineers said vibe coding helped them learn unfamiliar frameworks. You can ask AI to scaffold a React component, then dissect it to see how it works. Kind of like code learning on steroids. Creativity and experimentation. Taking away the tedium of manual syntax lets creators vibe more freely. As one Gitpod blog post put it, it all started with a tweet by Andrej Karpathy, a well-known AI expert, that snowballed with others like Rick Rubin becoming the face of the meme. Next, let's unpack why you wouldn't get funded if your pitch deck says, "We vibe code everything." Architectural complexity. A production-grade startup often needs microservices, load balancers, asynchronous job queues, and a DevOps pipeline. AI can't magically design a scalable Kubernetes cluster for you, at least not reliably yet. AI Spectrum warns the AI's Day 1 Plus capabilities are insufficient for orchestrating complex systems. Testing and maintenance. Imagine shipping an e-commerce platform without proper test coverage. Awkward. AI might stub out a unit test, but it won't cover edge cases like payment disputes or localization. Without engineers to write integration tests and maintain them, your app will break horribly under user load. Security and compliance. We already mentioned shaky security, but compliance is another monster. Your code should follow GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS standards. Getting AI to write compliant code is a long way off. Investors don't want to underwrite a data breach. Legal and licensing risks. Anecdotal reports surfaced that some AI models inadvertently included GPL licensed snippets, potentially tainting proprietary product code. Fixing licensing issues without an engineering background is a legal minefield. If you want a real business, you need real engineers. Vibe coding is phenomenal for prototyping, experimenting, and exploring, but it's not a substitute for a solid engineering foundation. So, you've heard the cons of building startup only by vibe coding. Maybe vibe coding alone isn't the secret sauce. What should you do instead? Combine AI with real dev talent. Use vibe coding for rapid MVPs, then bring in engineers to review, refactor, and stress test the code. Learn core concepts. Take time to learn data structures, algorithms, and system design. Even if you never write loops by hand, understanding them helps you guide the AI effectively and catch when it goes off the rails. Andrew Ng says, coding literacy leads to better AI outcomes. Vibe coding is surely helpful, but if you want to build something that lasts, something that withstands scale, security audits, and tech pivots, you need the human touch. Embrace the vibe, but don't forget the code, because at the end of the day, real apps need real skill. That's it, guys. If you find my works helpful, consider liking and subscribing. Also comment below your thoughts about vibe coding. See you in the next video.